Boom. 3, 2, 1, recording, go. Say your name and why the police are looking for you.
My name is Nathan Harp, Nathanharp.
Dude. Professional. Do you like to be called a bullfighter or rodeo clown?
Bullfighter.
Dude, when people call you a rodeo clown, does it make you mad?
It used to, I'm like, no, I don't tell the jokes. I don't get in the barrel. But,
I don't.
I
was going to say I don't wear a skirt, but
yeah, I realized,
not true.
where the, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, whenever it was, we were rodeo clowns. And then I started to realize the history behind it and that, people are just kind of behind on times and don't realize what they're saying. So
now you're
have a little more grace about it, I guess.
Thank goodness.
Yeah.
Because I don't want you to be mad at me. Because
Yeah.
I only call you a rodeo clown. Because when you say bullfighter, they're like, huh?
So he's a matador? Does he kill the bulls? Is there a cape?
Kind of a negative connotation. Yes. Dude, does it blow people's mind every time you meet a complete stranger? They're like, where do you work?
Yeah. They're like, you what?
Tell me.
You're crazy. Yeah, that's what. No, you're crazy. No, that's seriously what I'm doing.
Tell me the exact conversation every time.
So I just had it yesterday. I was at getting the oil changed in the truck, and guy was like, so he's asking me, he saw that I had an OSU hat on. I was like, yeah, I graduated from OSU. He's like, well, are you using your degree? I'm like, actually, no.
Yeah, kind of. It's ag.
Yeah. I do business in ag.
I am in the ag industry.
Yeah. I was like, no, I actually rodeo for a living. He's like, well, what part of the rodeo? I'm like, well, I'm a bullfighter. You're crazy. Yeah, I guess, whatever, And then he started telling me that, he was a driver's ed teacher. I'm like, you're crazy. You get in a car with somebody that doesn't know how to drive.
With a vehicle that can also kill you.
No, I mean, I get to do what I love. Most people drive an hour to work 8 hours, and drive an hour home, and it's a job they hate, where it's something I get to travel the country, and it's something that, I get to do, so I'm very thankful for it.
How do you even get started in that? You told me one time, didn't you go to a camp?
Yeah, so
did you
most
ever
people grow up into a rodeo family, so it's kind of something they did, that their dad did, the grandpa did. So
they're already doing it by the time they're six.
They grow up around it. So even if they don't rope, they find something else that they pick up that they like or are good at. Where I didn't really grow up into a rodeo family, but as a kid I loved rodeo. I loved going to the bull ridings, going to the Lazy E and watching Bull Nanza, things like
That's
that.
A customer, shout out.
Yeah, no big deal. And then when I was about 15, there was a guy right next to the middle school in Tuttle that he would buck occasionally, and so some of the guys that I knew rode bulls, so I was like, I want to go over there. Well, I went over there, and he told me about
So did you initially just want to ride?
No, I never wanted to ride.
Really?
Yeah, as a kid, I did mutton bust and things like that, but never really got serious about it. Even I went to a youth rodeo deal and did a bareback riding once, but I held on with both hands, and then I was signed up for the steer riding, and I didn't even get on, and there was a guy there that let me kind of dress up as a rodeo clown, and I thought I was really doing it, chasing the sheep at 10 years old and living the good life.
So you really started that young?
Yeah, I mean then, but then I never did it again until I was 15 or 16.
But that planted the seed?
Yeah, and then I went to a school and learned the fundamentals. Got hooked a lot, and then the instructor there, he got me hooked up with a rodeo company that does small rodeos around Oklahoma, Rock and R, Rusty Moreland, and so I did his kind of during the summer when I was supposed to be playing football. During
I remember.
Yeah.
That's how I first found out.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, it was our senior year, I think.
I saw
my senior year.
What I call a skirt.
Yeah.
And I was like, what is that?
Well, no, because I had the big bruise.
I forgot.
So I got hooked on a Friday night, and my leg just completely black. And then we had
Was it right before football season?
It was in the spring. So it was right before we did our camp. So right before Tulsa or wherever we went.
If somebody's listening that doesn't understand Tuttle football, you weren't even allowed to be in a school club besides football, much less another sport that could potentially hurt you.
If he would have known what I was doing, I would have not only probably been.
Did you ever tell him?
Not a starter, no, but somebody told him later, 2 years later, yeah, and he was like, "What the heck?" No. Yeah, so I had a big bruise.
So you had this monster bruise, and weren't all the coaches like asking you how you got hurt? And you're like, I don't know.
Yeah. It's like, oh, it must have been in
It
kickoff
looked like
or
you
something.
got in an explosion in the military or something.
Yeah.
You got
and then another time, that same year, right before senior season, I got stepped on it, and the dew claw like went in the back of my leg, and I had to have staples. Well, this was like during Tiger Pride, and I told them that I was climbing a barbed wire fence and like fell in the fence, and it got caught, and thankfully they believed it. But yeah, I wouldn't have been able to play. But
so I go over to your house. Weren't we like picking something up or?
I wanted to show you the video.
No. Oh yeah. So somehow you're like, can
tell
I be
anybody
honest
else.
with you? Yeah. Because our lockers are next to each other.
Yeah.
So you're like, can I be honest with you?
Yeah.
I gotta tell you a secret. Yeah. Like, didn't you like tell me like I was bullfighting or something? I was like, what is that? You're like a rodeo clown. And I was like, didn't really believe you.
Yeah.
And I remember going over to your house, and you still had all your, or like you were either gonna go to one or you like just got back or whatever. All the stuff was like laying out. And I was like, you're being serious. Oh, dude.
Well, and then
so
like
funny.
my last like promo video or highlight I put up, like actually that video where I got the bruise is on it.
Because why would you put that on there? And then
It
like
was
getting
just
blown
like
up in football or something?
It ties in with like the theme I had for like the video, but yeah, it was.
Oh, dude, that was.
But
disgusting.
then after high school, I needed something to kind of fill our time because, like you said, like football was such a big part of it. So I started kind of taking it a little bit more seriously.
Did you get pretty serious at the end of high school, like after football?
Yeah, I'd say like January 2019 is when I really started because that's when I got serious about it.
You said 19. You mean like
or 09? Sorry,
09. Yeah,
yeah, start 09.
10. Dude.
Yeah, and started hanging around the right people. Started going to practice pen, and God just kind of kept opening the right doors for me. And
so is that how like you just go one rodeo leads to another type of deal? Just like everything else, pretty much.
Yeah, so like I did the rodeos for that guy, and then like I said, I kind of got around the right guys, and then they kind of got me into freestyle bullfights, which is like the competition side of it, and started doing those. Wasn't too bad at it, and those really kind of help get your name out there. So
people go there to somewhat recruit.
Right. So like I mean, a freestyle competition is the part of the bullfighting career that you actually get to kind of be the star. I mean, like cowboy protection, you're just there to save the cowboy.
Behind
it's not about you. You're more of a personnel than you are like the star,
the main event.
Right, exactly. So the freestyle bullfighting, it's where you get to show out you versus a fighting bull. And
what's the time again?
It's 40 seconds, 60 seconds. So you got to at least go 40 seconds to get a score, and then you have to mandatory 60 or 60 is the cutoff.
Yeah.
And
then there's how many rounds?
It just
what do they
depends,
call?
like the bullfight, like long round, short round. But usually it's like a long round and a short round. So there might be 15 guys, and they take the top 5 back.
Dude, like it seems like if you would have said, because I've like seen several of them.
Yeah.
If you would have asked me, because I forgot how long they are, I would have said they were like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Or 3. Like I was guessing 3 minutes in my head.
Yeah.
That's great. Like it feels like forever. Like as a spectator, I can imagine like in there.
Yeah, where you're.
Does it feel like forever?
Sometimes. I mean, especially like the first few, you're like, oh my gosh, is that 40-second whistle?
Because you're winded and stuff too, right?
Yeah, I mean, you're constantly running, driving. I mean, like juking, jiving, like you would imagine a football player doing.
It's like a 60-second football play.
Yeah, right, exactly. Like
if you're a running back and you have the ball.
Yeah, exactly. Where they stop at 10 seconds, and like if they're tackled, the play's over. Where if 10 seconds, if we get hooked, the bull doesn't say, okay, you're down, I'm going to let you up. Like he stays on top of you until somebody else comes and gets him off of you. So
that's
yeah,
nuts.
It's crazy.
So after that, do you pretty much like do that just to get your name out, and then does that side, like talk about the economics, is that strictly because like you can win money, right?
Right.
That's not part, you don't plan on like that as like part of your economics, do you?
Right now, since there's been such a big like resurgence of freestyle bullfights, there is guys now that do just freestyle, where there's some guys that just do protection.
Really?
Or there's guys that do both. Like I never wanted to freestyle. I said I'm just a protection guy, but then like I did it and fell in love with it, but realized that it was such a big way to get your name out there. And honestly, when you're doing those smaller rodeos, you're not making much. Where if you go to those bullfights and you do well, you can win a lot of money to provide for yourself, or if you have a family. And so I started out.
Do
doing
they
the
pay pretty
bullfights.
deep, like first through fifth or something, or is it like first only? Or
It depends on the bullfight. Some of them will just pay the short rounds. Some of them won't pay last place in the long rounds, but pay a little bit in the second, or they might all pay a little bit, and then most of the money though is in the short round. I mean, because that's where if you do good, you should be paid for your.
how does
you're
it?
rewarded.
Is it like elimination or whatever? Like how does that work?
So usually they have 3 guys in a round. So say there's 15 guys, they'll have five rounds of 3 guys, and then the top guy in each round will move forward to the short round.
Gotcha.
But yeah, so you
And
don't
the short
really
round
ever,
is what, 30 seconds?
no, it's the same amount of time. So same 40,
they just call it
60.
short round.
Yep. But
that makes
yeah,
no sense.
that's kind of how I guess I got started, was doing the, I'm not started, but doing the small rodeos, doing the bullfights, started to get my name out there, started to pick up a little bit more rodeos, that's when I also kind of, when freestyling was taking off, is when I got my PRCA card and my PBR card, which is the bigger associations for, bullfighting, bull riding.
Why do you have to have those? Just like everything like that just kind of shows.
Yeah, just kind of
These are
to
the
make
guys
sure
you can
these guys
choose
are
from?
qualified. I mean, if otherwise those stock contractors, if they're hiring for the rodeos, they might just go get the first guy that they can find.
It gives them a list to go off
right,
of. Kind of.
right. They got to say, okay, this guy's at least qualified to do PRC.
How do you get that?
So the PRC is a lot harder evaluation. It's you have to send in. You have to have, or when I was going through the process, you had to have 2 signatures from guys that had
Dude,
worked
you just
at
gave
NFR.
it back in my day.
Yeah. Well, it's changed. It's changed.
You're getting so old, dude.
The game's changed.
Well, here, I mean, these guys these days are not legit.
Well, I don't want to say that.
Go
I'm just
ahead,
saying,
back in your day,
because I know for sure how it was back then. You had to have 2 NFR Bullfighter sign and 1 NFR Barrelman sign, and then you send in $500 and 5 like amateur rodeos that you have, and then they'll send an evaluator out to come evaluate you. So the hardest part for me was
like
getting
they come
the
to a
signatures.
rodeo and watch you.
Yeah, so they'll come to like one of those amateur rodeos that you have, watch you, see if they feel like you're
What?
qualified.
Dang.
At that point, you either are or you're not. If you're denied, then you can send in another 500, your
What?
signatures. Yeah.
They don't give you your money back.
No. No.
Did you get accepted your first time?
Yeah.
Oh.
And then at that point, you
Why?
buy.
You said getting someone to sign on it's the hardest.
Yeah.
Why?
I mean, because
You don't just have a buddy
mean,
that'll like.
well, you have to have NFR bullfighters that have worked at NFR, so there's not as many, a big list, and they don't want to sign on people because that's like saying that's like
I vouch for them.
yeah, I vouch for this person. So I mean, you don't want to vouch for a guy that is on the fence the whole time when somebody else is getting hooked. You know
Is
what
there
I mean?
any like low key like he's really good and I don't want to sign him so because I'm afraid
sure,
he's gonna.
But I mean, you can go to guys that are retired and get
Oh,
signatures.
so
from
it's
them.
ever,
anybody that has ever worked at NFR.
not current. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
Like in
yeah.
the past year or anything.
And who knows, there might be, but the guys that are currently still card holders, like they want to see competition come in that is good for the sport.
Right.
But, yeah, and then at that point you got to have your permit, and on your permit you have to work 5 rodeos that are PRC sanctioned. At that point, you have evaluations sent to all the people you worked with at those rodeos, the announcer, the bullfighter, the barrelman, and they can vouch for you or say that this guy
What?
wasn't doing
He
a
showed
good
up
job.
drunk or something.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So,
Whoa.
and then at that point, you're either denied or accepted, and then at that point you have your card.
So you have the potential to boot. Oh, so that's a one-time deal, not an ongoing.
Well, it depends on if you get,
If you get a complaint, they can kick you out though.
and then you got to start the process over. But if once you're accepted with your card, then you're a card holder. After that, we don't really have like a process of like, okay, after 5 years, we should reevaluate these guys. It's once you're a card carrier, you're a card carrier.
What's the biggest rodeo you've done?
I'd say the Fort Worth Stock Show and Rodeo.
Because of the amount of people or the money?
Just because I'd say it's
Both.
probably both.
Really?
If
Don't
I'm
you do
going,
that, like, pretty much
crowd
every year?
capacity, I'd probably say I did a bullfight in St. Paul, Minnesota, and it was like where the Minnesota Wild play. So like, and then this place was packed out, probably held 10, 15,000 people. But as far as
Whoa.
as far
If
as
you
that
need to take
goes,
that, you can.
no, I'm good. Just
Dude,
wanted to shut
Tell
up.
them you're recording a podcast.
Take a phone call on the podcast.
Answer it and say you're doing a podcast.
They hung up.
Is it Kayla?
No,
Oh, dang
not
it.
this time. It was a San Diego number.
Do you get like, not stage fright, but like, is it extra adrenaline? Or do you get adrenaline no matter what because of the bull?
I mean, with the job, like you get adrenaline. Like, so like I was saying, Fort Worth, just because like it used to be, it's 21 days long and it used to be 34 performances in 21 days. So like we'd have days that were 3 days. We'd have the last week was like 2 days. And so it was a lot. And so you got to get your adrenaline up and then sit down and wait for the next performance. Adrenaline up. And those days are really taxing, not just because of, possibly getting hooked or, running from the bulls. It's because your adrenaline, you got to get that adrenaline up and then you let it off and then up. And it just takes so much out of you. But so, yeah, it's crazy, I guess, as far as the adrenaline goes.
Dude, that would be nuts on, like, no one does anything like that is not, I guess other rodeo people, but there is nothing like that compares to, like, because even, like, other sports, like, you don't, like, actually get, I guess in, like, football, you could, like, actually get hurt if you weren't
right
paying attention, but,
yeah,
dude, that's crazy. On the, like, as far as, like, the big rodeos, do you like the bullfights that have more people there, do you like those better than, like, just regular rodeos where you're just doing protection stuff?
It just depends, because like right now in my career, I still do a little bit of freestyling. Like at not most, I'd say probably half my rodeos, I like sell the rodeo.
You still do half?
No, I'm saying like at half the rodeos, like we sell the rodeo, which is like we still turn out a Spanish bred fighting bull, and we still kind of do a bullfight to, we'll make a few rounds,
but
go
it's
to the
just
barrel.
like kind of an entertainment deal in the middle of the.
Excuse me. And there's like 3 of us, 2 or 3 of us, however many. So it's
and
not
all
just
3 of y'all stay out there.
Yeah, so we all stay out there. So it's not as crazy, but we still do it.
Kind of get your fix.
Yeah, I mean, so I still do that, but like this year I only went to 1 bullfight. Next year, I don't have any of them wrote down.
Oh, so you're not doing like hardly any bullfights?
No, I've kind of started phasing them out since like
dude, it's because
2017.
You're getting old.
I'm older
Just say
now.
Older? No,
I'm older.
dude.
I'm a middle-aged bullfighter.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Dude, I figured you're like oldest.
No, heck no.
There's like guys in there like,
well,
you're 30? Are you 30 yet?
29.
When's your birthday? March?
Yeah.
Dude, you're getting close.
It's just around the corner.
Dang. Do you, like, is that the thing? Like, that's how you get your name out there? Like a bunch of 18-year-olds do that and then you slow down?
There's still guys that are, like I said, still doing it. It just depends kind of if you start getting those rodeos or not, that, you can start backing off, or you're so busy that you don't have time to freestyle. So that's kind of where I'm at, is that I've got a good lineup of rodeos and stay enough busy that I really don't have to provide. I still do it to enjoy it, but I don't have to do it to pay the bills now. So,
right.
Yeah.
How do the economics work as far as the rodeos that you go to versus like sponsors versus like bullfights and all that? Like clearly like a big portion of your money comes from like just like going to actual rodeos, like being that, right?
Yeah. So
like percentage wise,
I guess you're asking like sponsored money versus like rodeo, like what I get paid for the rodeos actually.
Yeah, I mean like cause I feel like in the other stuff, like I don't know, I guess like all those jackpots and stuff like that, you can make like a significant amount of money if you win, but like the majority of those people seem like they're making like at least half their money from sponsors, I would imagine. You know what I mean? But like the majority of yours comes from like the actual rodeos, right?
Yeah. So for me, I don't have very many sponsors that actually give me money. I'm more of a product guy right now.
Here's your chance, dude.
Yeah. So if you need anybody, I got plenty of places on my baggies for sponsors.
I got a skirt spot for you. Dude, if you made a video saying I got a skirt spot for you for your business, tell me that wouldn't sell.
Well, I was hoping, cook feed right there on the back. Whatever.
Dude, feed stores have nothing to do with rodeos. You know that?
Yeah, exactly. What were we talking about, Lazy E earlier? I don't know.
We'll talk to him. I can tell you to talk to
him. No, but anyway, so I'd say 100% of mine comes from the rodeos. But, the difference between me and, say, a freestyle guy or from your normal rodeo contestant is when I'm doing cowboy protection, I go in knowing what I'm making that performance. Where they go in, they have to compete to make that money, or else they don't make anything that night. So,
dude, so like Which I guess that's just a gamble you have to like take into account. Like if you go to wherever, like you can walk away empty-handed. Not only empty-handed, but like you spend a lot of money to get there and all that.
Oh yeah, I
right?
mean, like a lot of those contestants or even freestyle guys. I mean, you go to a bullfight and it's one where it doesn't pay anything. You end up lasting around, and so all the money's in the short round. Well, heck, I drove all the way to Washington and made nothing, or I'm last paid $250. Well, that might cover your travel. It probably won't. So
If you slept in your car.
yeah, exactly. So
Dude.
it's
So is that why people kind of phase those out if they can?
yeah. I mean, I'd say that like right now the freestyle is at its biggest since 2000. And it's because of what BFO's doing and taking the sport to a whole nother
It's
level.
still around.
Yeah. And so like this last week it finished up the finals with along like during the same time the NFR was going out there, and they paid, the guy that won the BFO average finals, he won 20,000 for fighting 4 or 5 bulls, and then the guy that won the year in, he didn't even win the finals, but he won the year in and he won 50,000. So I mean, like there's still a lot of money you can go win in freestyle bullfighting right now, and probably the most that there's been since the 2000s.
They're like 50,000 in BFO bucks. You can buy a hoodie with it. You can buy
There's yo-yos, slinkies.
We got all kinds of stuff. Those little clapper things, whatever you want. You got 50,000 to spend. Did the like as far as how? What are you doing there, guy?
Just playing.
You
Playing
want
with
to
my
adjust
yo-yo.
it? You want to adjust it?
No, I'm good.
The as far as like when you got hurt, was that the worst? Like most recently, was that the worst you'd ever been hurt, or the longest you were out? I guess.
No. So my last injury was my arm, and I was only out 6 weeks.
That was your worst injury?
No,
As for
that was you asked the longest. I thought.
oh, what's the longest?
My knee. So I was out 6 months with that one. And for us, most rodeo contestants and personnel, if you're not working, you're not getting paid. Unless you do have that sponsor money to cover cost. And
Which, if you're out 6 months, they're like,
well, and that just depends on how great of people they are or not.
shows
you
how
find
bad of a sponsor I would be. Cause
Yeah. Well, and there's people
give me
that
my
are like
skirt
that,
spot.
but there might be like the ones that understand, the dangers of the sport and understand that if you're not working, you're not getting paid. So they understand how important that sponsor dollar is
right.
when you're at home. But yeah, I was out 6 months with that one, with the ACL, MCL, meniscus.
All 3?
Yeah.
Dude, I guess I don't like. I mean, I remember it, but I guess I just didn't realize it was that bad.
Yeah.
Was that your worst?
From bullfighting, yeah, it's been my worst one. Thankfully, that's it.
Was it the most painful?
At the time, no. I mean, after surgery, it was for,
What was your most painful wreck?
Ooh.
What do you call it? What's
Probably
the technical?
ribs. I broke some ribs last spring. That was probably because it happened in like the 5th bull out, and it was at a bull ride, and so we still had 4 or 35 other bulls to buck.
It was at a ride, not a freestyle deal.
Yeah, so it was at a bull ride, and so they had 40 guys out, and it was a 2-day deal. So this was the first night. I broke it on the 5th bull.
Of the first night?
Yeah, and I went out. The guy taped my ribs, and I went back and finished, and then had the next night. And so that one was kind of a long, but it was just
Dude, we have employees that go home because they're tired. I can't imagine.
well, like I said, I don't get paid if I don't work. So
Well, they don't either, but
yeah.
oh shoot. Did so that was the most painful because you like had to keep going? Was that just a freak accident or something?
No, that's the one that you seen the video where like he threw me up into the bucking chutes.
Oh, so the bucking chutes is what actually?
No, actually, it was him. Like he broke my vest. He hit me that hard. Yeah.
Wow.
But I would say that just because ribs are so close to your heart, that's the most like painful place. The arm, it hurt, but it wasn't the worst. Like I was okay. The knee, like I said, like when I did the knee.
Do you know like when it happens, or do you have so much adrenaline you're like,
no, I know.
It takes a few hours?
And, like,
oh, really?
Like I don't do well with blood, needles. Like I'll pass out, and like when something is seriously wrong, like I'll about pass out.
Oh,
So like
it's that low pain tolerance.
yeah, low pain tolerance. That's it. But yeah, so I kind of know when stuff's wrong. And like, I mean, I know that you haven't told many of your fans this because I listened to the first one, but like, you live with DJ, you live with me, you live with Blake. Well, you know, I know that Blake plays for the Cowboys, but I'm really the best athlete.
Don't you dare give Blake a
I'm
shout
the,
out. Oh, okay,
I'm the
good.
best athlete
As
out
long
of
as you
the
humble
house.
it.
I know that you want to say that Blake is since he plays in the NFL.
I've
but
never said that.
I'm the better athlete.
I'm the best entrepreneur athlete. Tell DJ.
Tell DJ.
Dude, let's not say anything to him. It'll be a test. DJ, if you heard this, episode 2, send me a text right now. This will be a test.
Yeah.
I'll see how long it takes for him to listen to it. We'll see if he's subscribed. Worst Rex. How do sponsors work?
It depends.
Everybody's different.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to give you product, huh?
It depends. Like I said, like the people that I have, I'm thankful for, and they provide product. But some people do product and dollar money, and some people will.
Is that what they call money? Dollar money?
Yeah. Instead of monopoly money, I mean, you got to tell the difference, or else people
right. They would think
Yeah.
you're talking about fake money.
yeah, you got to check that.
The 4 people that listen to it might be confused.
Well, now they know.
Now they know. Go ahead. Thanks for listening, Mom.
DJ.
And DJ, if he's listening. How does the product deal work? Is it, do you just make a judgment call I like this brand anyways, or do you not try to do this? But
Honestly, it just depends. Like right now where I'm at, I'm fine with the rodeos I have. Obviously it'd be nice to have sponsors, but I'm gonna be more picky and choosy and depending on what they want.
Because you have somebody to make happy, kind of.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like getting a boss, pretty much, right?
Right, exactly. So I mean,
how involved are they?
It depends company to company. I've heard horror stories of people that were just terrible to work with, and I've heard others that are so hands off they don't even know whether they have your logos or their logos on you. So.
Yeah. Sorry, I was trying to click a deal, but
It's okay.
I forgot where it's at. Anyways,
Keep multitasking, whatever.
I'm like, yeah, I'm listening. I'll record this conversation and let's do it later. So as far as your favorite rodeo, what is it?
I got a lot of favorites for a lot of different reasons, especially if they're all
do
listening.
not PR this program. Don't you dare, you politician.
So I like Fort Worth because of the prestige of the rodeo, and it was such an Ironman competition just to get through it. I mean, like I said, 34 performances in 21 days.
Have you done the per hour what you make?
No.
You don't want to?
No.
You're worried?
Let's see. Probably my favorite summer rodeo is Caldwell, Idaho, and it's just because for 5 nights, Tuesday through Saturday, it is a packed house with people that just love rodeo.
Where's it at?
Excited. Caldwell, Idaho. It's right next to Boise. And
you do a bunch
Yeah.
up north, huh?
Yeah.
More than you would think, or more than I
during
would
the
think.
summer, yeah.
Ah.
So winter, I'm mainly Texas and Arizona, and then once summer kicks off, Wyoming, Utah, Colorado, California, Oregon,
Dang.
Idaho.
Do you mostly fly or drive?
It depends. Depends on how it works
How
out
far?
on the route. Yeah.
Oh. Are you usually going from rodeo to rodeo, or do you go out, come back, go out?
No, I usually rodeo to rodeo.
Really?
Yeah. Because, I mean, economically, like you said, it doesn't make sense to, fly to Utah, fly home, fly to Colorado, fly home. But if I'm there for 4 days, then it makes sense to just stay there an extra 2 days and go to the next one that's another
Right.
4 days. So.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't know. What else? How long you been talking? When's your cutoff? 20 more minutes?
6.
6?
Yeah. What
Yeah,
time
good.
is it?
5:40? I still got you another 20 minutes.
Yeah. Just need more questions.
I mean, I figured you'd be full of conversation, so.
It's my first podcast. I don't know what to do.
It's only my second.
Okay.
Do you go to any,
when are you going to step in front of
a bull?
It can be small.
Probably run of the bulls.
No. You need to come and we'll get
I
you
would
from
like to go to Mexico to watch that.
I would like to go see
you been?
No, I'd like
Would
to
you
go
like
to
to go together?
Spain and
Two things.
See the matadors.
I'd like to see that, and I would also like to see the Iditarod, the dog sled race.
Ooh, that'd be cool.
Dude, I legit looked it up last. Me and Blake were gonna go.
Like, is
But
that
it kinda-
Alaska?
In March, but it kind of is a bad time of the year for busy season,
Yeah.
so
Yeah, same here.
that doesn't work out. So those are the two things. So if you want to schedule the Matador deal,
Well, I'm talking about
when is
like
that?
freestyle one.
Oh, me?
Yeah,
I don't know. The arena's right across from my house. If you could
Yeah. I work out there occasionally.
can you bring a calf or something?
Yeah, I wouldn't bring anything big, just something that knock you down.
Something that could rough me up and not kill me.
Yeah, that's what most like the school bulls we do are like 600 to 1,000 pounds. So like they'll hook you and knock you down, but they're not gonna kill you.
Dude, but like the bullfights I've been to, and like somebody's terrible.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh man, this guy's so slow. He's gonna get creamed. And then I'm like, but he's fast compared to, I'm
Yeah.
like, I would just be like,
The main thing is just no straight line running, and you'll be okay. And don't like go to the
that
fence.
sounds like super, like, yeah.
It's so easy.
Hypothetically, that sounds so like, don't run in a straight. Yeah, right.
But I mean, that's the deal. It's really like making a circle with a bull really isn't that hard, but it's telling your mind to do it when your mind's telling you to run.
Like,
in a
just
straight
keep running
line.
straight. Yeah.
Get over the fence where it's safe.
Yeah.
Well, your body's like flight. Let's go.
Do you ever go to like, the rodeo in Tuttle still has those like, what do they call it? The Ring of Fire deal?
Yeah.
Do you ever go to those and just like dominate?
No, but
Or are you
I
afraid you're
did
going to
do
get
that.
hurt?
I did do that like in
I feel like I watched you the one time you like. did
yeah
it.
like 10 or 11.
I think we were together.
Yeah.
Or I was there and you were there. Maybe.
Yeah, so I did it like once or twice, like earlier
Did
in
you
my
win?
career. One time, me and a friend, like we made a plan that he was gonna distract the bull because it was me and him towards the end, and he's like, "I'll take it. We'll split the money." I'm like, "Deal." And then another time I entered and I didn't win, but yeah, it's a lot
How
harder
much
to
is the
stay in a
money?
little circle.
How
and
much
do
is the
things.
money?
Like $50, $100.
What? Get
Yeah.
out. Oh, it's not worth it then. Oh, dang. You're like, I'm out here trying to compete for 20,000. You're like, what's the prize? They're like $50. You're like, what?
No.
They're like, why? Who are you? You're like, nobody. You think? Did they know who you were? You think they get mad if they knew?
Maybe.
I guess not if you didn't win. They'd be like,
Yeah.
haha, sucker.
Yeah, it shows you.
Did you get run over?
I got hooked, but he didn't get me down.
Oh, dude. Was there a bunch of people there watching you?
I don't know.
No, I mean, like, were
Incognito,
you with a
like-
big?
No,
like,
no.
Oh,
Yeah.
like 20 friends or something.
No.
I know how you roll.
My posse.
You roll 20 people deep usually. Did you go to the NFR?
Yeah, I went out there for like we have a convention out there, like the Tuesday.
Did you set up a
Wednesday.
booth and everything?
Yeah, so I set a booth.
Does that work out good?
Most people like ask that question, like, was it worth it? Did you book any rodeos? And most of the time, like, you don't go out there to book rodeos. You just go out there to, meet people that in network that could be important in 3 to 5 years. You might make somebody in, 19 that in 2022.
It's much more marketing than sales.
Right. It's just making relationships, building friendships with these people that are looking to hire that might like, oh, I'm not looking for anybody this year, but their Bullfighter retires in 2022. And they're like, oh, hey, I remember talking to that guy. Let's see what he's got, the third week in June.
Is there a lot of bullfighters that go out there?
There is and there isn't. Like, I'd say like the bulk of the PRCA, as far as bullfighters go, I'd say that there's probably 60-70% that like get a booth, and probably the rest don't go out there, whether it's because they're
60
new.
or 70%
Yeah,
of the PRCA? That's
like
a lot, isn't it?
bullfighters.
I
I'd
know,
say.
but that's
Yeah.
a lot, isn't it?
I mean, that's 70 guys probably, and maybe not. I'm probably way overshooting it because like looking through all the booths, I'd say that there's probably 30 bullfighters that get a booth, so probably way lower than that.
Dude, you're just talking yourself through this as
I
we
know.
speak.
I'm counting the guys as we go every row. No.
So did they put y'all all together?
No, so like
That'd be awkward.
Yeah, like I mean, there's
You're
been
like,
years,
sir, over here.
Yeah, there's like when we first started going, or I first started going, like me and one of my friends, we were right next to each other, and so like, hey, I can't go this weekend, but this guy can. We'd kind of help each other out.
You work together?
Yeah.
Dude, screw that. I'm way too cutthroat.
Well, that's why I moved. I'm not next to him anymore.
Dude, did he get sketchy or did you?
He did.
He got sketchy?
Yeah, that's why I had to move
No.
away.
He what?
That's why I had to move away.
He started getting a little too competitive, huh?
Yeah.
Dude, tell me the story.
I can't. He might be listening right
Get
now.
the heck out of here. No, he's not. If he stole rodeos from you, he didn't like you that much.
He's
I
one
don't
of
have to
my-
listen
he's
to
one
the
of my,
underground podcast.
one of my groomsmen.
Hey, that's why I was your best man.
That's right.
Wasn't I? Wasn't? Yeah.
I don't. Yeah.
Dude, I was like, wait, maybe I wasn't. No, I think I was.
You
Yeah,
were.
I held the ring. Yeah. Yeah, that was my job.
Oh jeez.
What else?
You helped me book a rodeo today. That was nice of you.
That was cool.
Yeah.
How do you get into the PBR?
PBR, you got to have a card, and they have a little bit of a different evaluation process. And then
They're trying to do like some bullfighting stuff too, right?
They do some at their events, yes. But
So it's just like in between the rides.
yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I've not been to it. Like the BFO used to do them, and now it's like the AFB that goes to them. But used to, it was like right before the long round and the short round, they would do the bullfights or something like that, like as a filler of time.
Right.
But so the PBR is just kind of like rodeos. You know, you got to get your name out there, start getting hired. The guys that work the PBR that you see on TV, the Unleash the Beast tour, they are voted on by the top 35 guys to 50. No, this year the top 100 voted. And so as far as bull riders in the PBR,
top 50 bull riders vote on
top
the bullfighters.
yeah. And so they had like a list of guys, and they picked
Dude,
their
how
top
political
6.
is that?
It depends.
Do you just like buddy them up and they do it, or they're like, screw you?
I don't do that.
I care
Like,
about. No, I'm saying like
some might, but I don't do that. And I feel like too that I'd rather be able to look at myself in the mirror and know that I didn't stoop to that level. I'd rather let my work in the arena
that's
speak for
sales.
itself.
Is it not sales to you?
No, not to me. It's politicking, and I hate politicking. But
So you have to get voted in. But
yeah,
don't
for
they take
the
way more than
finals.
like 3?
They take 4 guys to the PBR finals, and then the
But
fifth
for
through-
like the whole season, like they use a bunch, right?
well, it
or not
depends.
really?
So like the Unleash the Beast tour, they usually use just about 4 core guys, and then if they have like guys that have injuries or whatever, they'll use like the 5th and 6th guy.
But 4 go and only 3 work it, or they only take 3?
They only take 3, or they take 4 to the finals, but then throughout the year they use 3 guys. So like the first, second, third guy get first choosing on all the events, and then the 4th guy will get the leftovers more or less. And then the PBR is kind of tiered, like I would say like Major League Baseball. So they have majors, they got AAA, AA. So the Velocity Tour is like the AAA, and that's where you know if you do well, you get to move up, and if you start well at the Turn Pro, you get to go to Velocity and so forth. Well, the guys that are 5th through say 10th, those guys get to do the Velocity events, and they're the lower tiered events that the PBR does.
And that's what you're doing?
Yeah, so I started out doing the Turn Pros, and now I mainly just do the Velocities. Like I still do a couple like Turn Pros, but mainly
What comes to Oklahoma City?
that's Unleash the Beast tour.
Oh, it is?
Yep.
Oh, I thought it was Velocity. Huh.
Nope.
And so, like, with that, do you, like, pretty much, do you have to, like, sell your soul for that, like, and cancel all of the rodeos, or do you, like,
So that
because if you don't, are they like, okay, cool, see ya?
well, I don't think so. Like I don't think you got to sell your soul.
Like, how do you do it?
So my rodeos are more consistent. So I book my rodeos because they're rodeos that I've had for, going on 6-7 years, some of them. Excuse me. So I do those, and then I kind of use the velocities as fillers because, I might work. Like last year I worked Wichita, Kansas. This year I might not work Wichita. So it's a lot more like changing. Whereas like, you can count on your rodeos. Like I can count on Fort Worth to be the last 2 weeks in January and the first week of February. I've been there since 2015. So I can kind of count on those, where the other ones, like they might have Wichita this year or they might not have it next year, or they do have it, but they hire 3 different guys. So it's a little bit different and changing as far as
Is the money
schedules go.
quite a bit better in the big one?
For the Unleash the Beast tour, yeah, like it's definitely where you want to be as far as like the money and the exposure. I mean, you're on TV week in, week out, so sponsors.
So it helps you with rodeos
yeah.
too.
I mean,
And sponsors.
Everything. I mean, like you
But
said,
you're not wearing. I mean, like sponsors don't get
you
publicity there though, right?
Right. You can't wear their stuff because they make you wear their jersey and shorts. But you can wear hat patches and then like all social media. I mean, think about it because you're tagged in all their stuff. Well, PBR has 3 million followers.
Plus
so
TV.
Right. Exactly. So everything, every little bit helps like that as far as that goes. But yeah, like that's where, I mean, the bulk of your money. And at that point, you're only working, Friday, Saturday, Sunday usually. So you can fly in, fly out. Where
how does that? Do they cover everything, or is it like you're an independent
independent contract? So they
pay you flat, and then
you got to figure out how to get there. You got to figure out how to where you're staying, what food you're eating. That's up to you. So you don't get like a per diem or anything like that. Like you're just paid a flat rate, and then hey, you got to take out
no
your
matter
expenses.
Where you're going.
I mean, that's with my rodeos. That's with bull ridings. Everything. That's kind of how it is. Is like when you book it.
But they don't like. I know this one's in Florida, but like I live in Oklahoma. It's like
that's up to you booking it. Like hey.
Oh, so don't book it if you don't want.
Yeah, if you can't make money on it, don't book it.
But does that make them mad?
It depends. I mean, like the rodeo guys, it's each rodeo is individually hired by that committee that puts on the rodeo. So like the people that hire at Ponca City aren't the same ones that hire at Fort Worth and so forth. But the PBR, they're hired by the same people. So, but they pay well enough that it's worthwhile to go. Like I booked some of those today, so I'm going to Maryland. I'm going to South Carolina.
You can go to
Kansas,
Maryland and still like that's crazy.
Because I mean those deals pay so good that like you can go fly in, fly home, and still make good enough money. And they know that, like they know what it takes to get there. They know what it takes that you should be making, so they kind of have it figured in too. Because they want the right guys going to take.
Is that how the bull riders go too?
So bull riders,
or do you even know that side?
Like bull riders, you got to start out, like your lower level rodeos, and more or less that you don't have to start there, but it's better because the stock level is usually way lower, so it's better to get your basics figured out. And then once you got that, then you can start going to buy your PRCA card, buy your PBR card, but you don't get to just automatically start getting to enter the biggest rodeos where they put all the money in it, or the Unleash the Beast tour. You got to start at the Touring Pros for the PBRs.
You have to like collect points or money or something. Right.
And in the PRCA, they have qualifications, so you got to get your qualifications up. Well, that means you got to start winning rodeos. So you got to win the small 500 added rodeos, and then they'll start letting you enter the better rodeos. Well, if you do well with those, then you can start entering the big rodeos and stuff like that. And the PBR, it's the same way. If you win a Touring Pro, then they start letting you in the velocities. Well, if you win a velocity, like the winner of the velocity event, each one gets like a buy to the Unleash the Beast tour. But yeah, like the PBR uses points, where the PRCA for their bull riders, they money
do money
won.
Right? Yeah. How do you get to bullfight at the NFR?
So the top 20 bull riders get to vote on who they want. So they get a list of guys that have worked 8 rodeos with a minimum of 20 performances, and they select the 3 guys that they want. Each bull rider does that, and then at that point they make a short list of the top 5 vote getters, and then at that point they make those guys vote again. That way, if there's any outliers or whatever, those guys get to vote, and then from there the top 3 vote getters are the ones that get to work the NFR.
Whoa, that's crazy. So it's different every year. So it has nothing to do with money or
no. For bullfighters, it's strictly what the bull riders want for them. The guys, and they said that it used to be politics, but I feel like now that the guys that are going are the guys that are the top 3 going. Off because those guys they don't want the guys that are washing their vans or something. They want the guys that are there to protect them, because there's so much money to be won at the NFR now that they want the top guys there to keep them safe.
Because if they get hurt,
because it's 10 days long. I mean, you're getting on a bull at least. If they
get hurt
once.
On day 2,
I mean, you want the guy that's going to be able to save your bacon so you can get on around 3 through 10. If it was round 2. So it's
dude. Have you ever had like I know you have, but like, what's the craziest deal where they get hung up in the while they're riding?
So what do you call that? There's 2 different types of hang-ups. There's a hang-up where they're their hand rolls over in the rope, and they're in a bind where you have to get up and kind of get their arm out of that bind and pull that rope, and it'll come loose. Which those used to be like the worst thing, but now there's spur hang-ups where their spur will get usually wrapped around.
Same thing in the rope.
Yeah, but usually not at the handle. It's usually
It's just like the X.
Yeah, in the tail. And that's bad because at that point, there's not usually a whole lot of you going in there and getting them unhung. It's you either cut the rope or you get enough weight on them that they'll come undone. And there's these knives that we could carry around now that are a hook knife. Used to like, hey, there's a spur hang up, throw me your pocket knife. Well, that's dangerous to the animal, to us, to the guy hung up, everybody.
Dude's leg. Yeah.
So now they have these hook knives that we figured out, and people use it, or like paramedics use them because it's a seatbelt cutter.
We sell them.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, well, like
Those
people
are like
use them
tag
for
cutters.
horses. Well, like for horses to cut, like they wrap their legs and stuff for
Uh-huh.
races.
Yeah.
And like a horse will kick you or
Yeah.
shake or whatever. So same thing. Like it's
Yep.
real dangerous. So it's just like I don't know if you remember like the old vet wrap.
Yeah.
Or not vet wrap, but like wrap when you wrap your ankles and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Like you slide the.
Yeah.
It's just like that.
Well, so like ours is folded up like a knife, so you don't even see that there is a blade, and then you
Huh.
have to pull it out, and that way it's better for us. So that way we don't accidentally like say if we got
Oh.
hooked doing something else, And
Oh shoot! Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
so it helps us that way. But yeah, the spur hang-ups are by far the worst, and I don't know. It's been a while since we've had one that's just been super bad. I remember like watching like the old PBR tapes, and there being a spur hang-up that lasted for like a minute or two, just because they didn't
Dude.
have the knives back then. So they were waiting for somebody to throw them a pocket knife, and there's a guy laying on him trying to put enough. Because sometimes if you get enough weight, like two of you, like if it's half inch or something, you can pull it or something. But if it's through there, most of the time you're not going to be able to just weight it down and pull it. You need something to cut it, and that's what it was. But yeah, it was long.
So you haven't even had one that was that bad.
Not in a while, no. Thankfully.
But I mean, it would have made for a really good story. So that's what I was going for. Nothing, huh?
I don't have it. No.
Have you ever had to use a knife? Do you even carry one?
Yeah, I carry one.
Dude, what if you told all that?
So actually, we had one at a school I did. I forgot about this in September.
See, this is what
Yeah.
I'm looking for.
So,
Go ahead. Is the kid
so
okay?
we were doing a jackpot.
Is the kid okay?
Yeah, he's
Okay.
fine.
All right, go ahead.
He got on more bulls after that, so it was a jackpot. And he got bucked off, and like the bullfighters stepped in, did their job, and like I was just instructing, so I wasn't actually in. And then I realized that he was hung up, so I reached for my knife. Well, I stepped in there, and the bull's head came around, so I stepped at his head and just held him. Well, the bull ride instructor, he saw it. He came out with his pocket knife. Thankfully, he didn't cut anybody, and his knife was super dull. But I mean, still the point will do some
Yeah.
damage, even if it is dull. But he got down there and was going to cut on it, and his weight on the guy got the guy loose. But it was probably 10-15 second spur hang up, but it felt like a minute or two. Like it felt like forever. But he only made like one or two, rounds.
Dude,
of
how scary would that be on the
Oh, I mean, because you're helpless.
like being?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude, I was at an amateur deal. It was like I don't think it was Tuttle, but like something like that.
Yeah.
Somewhere around here. It might have been no, like because you would have remembered it, but it was like same thing. And I'm like, dude, at some of those smaller rodeos, then I'm
Yeah.
like freaking out. I'm like, is there anyone like not to be
Right.
rude, but like very legit here that's gonna know,
Right.
And I mean, like all that's going through my head, and the dude's just like dangling there like a rag doll. It was just like, whoa.
Yeah.
But I can't imagine how scary that'd be. Plus, your head's like down there by his, like, dude,
Yeah, because you're being
just
drugged.
staring at his knees and his.
You're being drugged like this, so it's not like you're able to protect yourself. You're just kind of along for the ride.
Dude, it makes me sick thinking about it.
Whereas, like, if it's a hand in the rope hang up, like you at least kind of can
Like you're still
help
there.
yourself
Yeah.
a little bit.
Yeah, that one's not as. I mean, like that sucks, but like you said, like you're still, your feet or you're still upright.
Right.
and-
You can sit
or
on your feet most
hopefully
of the
still
time.
upright.
Yeah.
But I guess, man, yeah, that'd be terrible. Does who gets hurt more? You think bull riders or bullfighters? Dude, surely riders.
I would say probably riders, just because like we're in a little bit more control. We're on our feet where they're on the bull's back. Not every time they get off, they're in a lot of can control the situation.
Oh, how they're gonna fall and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Do you think a lot of people get hurt falling, like just like hitting the ground? Or do you
It
think it's mostly
depends.
like getting stepped on and stuff?
Step on.
Oh,
feet,
really?
feet hurt way worse. I mean, think about it. Like if you fall to the ground, unless
The
ground,
pressure.
yeah, the ground's. I mean, unless it's just super hard, then it's like hitting concrete, and that makes it a lot
Oh,
harder.
yeah, you're in an arena that's
Yeah,
pretty.
so depending, like some arenas are real deep, they drag it, so like it's more cushiony. Where some of them they make it like barely scratch it, so the bulls can buck a little bit better. Well, those are very hard on you. If you land on your head, you're gonna go to sleep. But
Do most people wear helmets now?
I would say so.
It's not a
And then,
law, right?
no,
Like,
there is
yet?
one that like at a certain year, like say 90 or 2000, we'll say 2000's a year, that if you're born above 2000, you always have to wear a helmet.
really?
Even in the PRC and PBR, I think, or at least PBR.
What?
Yeah.
Why do they do that?
Just because safety. I mean, helmets.
But I'm
are,
saying, why do they not just say everyone has to? Because some
Because-
dudes are like, well, I've always booked in a hat.
right, exactly. I've always wore a hat, so
It's
I
my
mean,
lucky
and a helmet
hat.
is different, and if
They're
it's
saying
such-
it like jacks with their
yeah, because I mean, it's
because
an
the
extra,
mask and stuff.
No, just the weight. Like, I mean, and sometimes a mask, but it's an extra 10 pounds on your head. And I mean, if you ride bulls, it's all about balance. So if you have that helmet, it can throw you off when you're
But
not used
still,
to.
like,
I think you could get used to it.
it's probably bogus, but
Right. But at the same time,
but they're like, here's a compromise.
I respect that. I feel like it should be your decision. I mean,
Yeah.
in my opinion, I think helmets.
So it'll be phased out like pretty soon. I mean,
Yeah.
or-
And I think it's just PBR. It might be the PRCA too. But yeah, like you have to be, whatever the date is, you have to start.
the horse stuff, dude. It's like now it's like law at the track, of course, like
Yeah.
jockeys but even like the exercise, right? Like all of them.
Yeah.
But it's getting to like even like if you're just like riding your horse, people are like, you're an idiot not wearing a hat. I mean, it's like getting to where like people are
Yeah.
like, dude, you're stupid.
Yeah.
It's crazy how much like that's progressed in the last 10, 15 years or something.
Yeah. That is nuts.
But did like when people get bucked off and stuff, do you ever like are they like, I broke my leg, and you're like, sorry dude? Like do those conversations happen?
So
I always wondered
there's
that,
a
like-
really funny one. It's not. It's funny now, but it wasn't at the time. So I was in a bullfight, and one of my good buddies, Cody Emerson, he was fighting his bull. He got hooked, and it looked weird, but not that weird. He got hooked down, and
Which
it was right
he's
by
like
the fin-
hilarious, like just like saying like, hey, how's it going is hilarious for
Yeah.
him.
So he got hooked down, and the bull left him, and he was right by the fence, and he was trying to climb it, but he couldn't because his leg was broke. He's like, dude, my leg's broke. I'm like, what? And I'm looking down at him. Well, I lost track of where the bull was. Bull comes back and hooks him up against the fence. So it was kind of my fault. Like, I should have been taking the bull elsewhere and helping him, but I was.
Was he telling you my leg broke to
Yeah.
like get you to distract him, or was he just like telling
He
you?
was telling me like his leg was broke.
Oh, just like friend of
to like help, or like, hey, I need help and up and over.
and you're
and I
like,
should have
okay,
been-
do you want me to go get a
Should be like,
doctor?
oh, the bull's coming. Watch out.
Oh, dude.
But yeah, like we'll have like us, like me and the other bullfighter, like we'll have conversations beforehand, like, hey, this guy, he's riding with a broke leg, or hey, this guy, he gets knocked out pretty easy, and then,
so
like,
you like kind of like
yeah, we kind of know the guys well enough, and then like say if somebody does get knocked out, like, hey, he's down, well, we'll go to the bull and try to lead him and take him somewhere else and do something with him,
gotcha.
so he has time to get up, or for him to wake up if that's the case.
Do you always tell him good job, or what's your
Not
your post game speech, or do you just not talk to him?
It depends, I guess.
Oh, I
like,
want to know, like, what does it depend on? If they did good or not? Are
Yeah.
you like a genuine guy? Like, if they didn't do good, you're not gonna say anything.
yeah, I'm not gonna say good
Dude,
job.
I get on to Lindy about that all the time. She's like tell people, like whatever's, and I'm like, no, like if I say no, I'm not gonna be a jerk and be like, let me be honest with you, but I'm gonna be like, I'm not gonna say a word if somebody tells me like if I'm gonna tell somebody something, it's gonna be the truth. It's not gonna be like,
Yeah.
I'm just telling you to be nice.
like if they didn't try and stuff like that, like I don't even talk to them, like, because if
Oh, you can tell, like,
yeah, I can tell if a guy's looking off or trying hard or not, and if they don't try hard, it's like you're putting me at jeopardy for, like, I don't mind saving a guy that tries really hard, but if you don't try, like, you're putting me at jeopardy doing a job that you don't even care if you're out there for. So why do I
So
have to give
just
100%?
don't come.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, stay at home if you're not going to try.
I'm sorry that happened to you. I mean, I'm sorry. It sounds
It's
like
okay.
you're still upset
I'm
at all those
It's
guys.
pet peeve. Sorry.
Dude. Oh,
Coming clean. Episode 2.
Yeah, man. I mean, just pour your heart out. Let it out. Okay. Time's up.
Yeah, it's been fun.
What do you want to say? I mean, give all your shout
I
outs
feel
now.
like you need to figure out a question for like you ask every guy.
To end?
Yeah,
Now's our chance.
I know. So what's your question? But you have to ask this to everyone. Like that comes on.
Dude, this is so much pressure on the
I
spot.
know.
Okay,
I
question of the
wanted
day.
to tell you before.
What if it's a really good question? And then you're bumfuzzled.
I don't know.
Okay. But it has to be universal.
Exactly. You can't just
Okay. What is your... Ooh, here we go.
Be. Oh.
What's your goal for this year coming up? This is going to be tough because about to be the new year. What's your goal
for 2020?
What's your goal for the next few months?
For
Next 12 months.
Next 12 months? Okay.
Well, I'm saying, what if I interview someone next month and I'm like, what's your goal for 2020? They're like...
Well, for me, like, I think 2020, like the end of 2020. Is that what you're talking about?
No, like, what's your goal for the next year or so?
The goal for the next year is Circuit Finals NFR 2020.
What? Circuit finals?
Yes.
I'm going to start politicking for you. I know you hate it, but,
No.
dude, that's how I can get you there.
No.
Let me
That's not what I
politic for you.
want. I
I'll
don't want it.
campaign.
I don't want it.
I'll campaign,
I
dude.
don't want it.
I'll be like, yeah, is this Billy? And they're like, did you guys get that call from some guy that's campaigning for the...
It's an anonymous number.
Yeah, a private number.
Yeah, no, I'm good. I don't want that.
I'll make it happen.
No, I'm good. Thank you.
All right, we'll work on it.
No, we'll talk later.
Hey, good luck on your goal.
Okay, cool.
Next
We're
year.
not doing that.
I'll buy plane tickets.
We're talking serious. Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah,
Yeah,
if that
was
happens,
serious.
you got to come.
You're still in laugh mode. You're like, yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. And that was a genuine. It's tough for me to give compliments, so.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
But those were real sentiments.
That meant a lot. Appreciate being a part of your podcast.
Dude, episode 2.
Episode 2.
You're building the founding blocks of my episodes.
Remember me when you get big.
I will.
Okay.
I'll have you back on for the 102nd episode in 7 years.
Oh. Will
We're just-
podcasts be a big thing back in 7 years?
Better be. Radio will be gone. Everybody will just listen to podcasts. I honestly believe that.
I still listen to radio a little bit.
Like, dude, you're like, don't get me started on how you're an old man.
Sports talk radio.
Yeah, you're like, if I want to know what the 70-year-olds are doing, I just ask you.
Give me a call.
Yeah.
I'll be driving the
I'm
same
like, hey,
speed
Nate,
limit.
I'm trying to market to like retired people and like people that are stuck in their ways. What do you do?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can help you with
That's
that.
you. You're like, oh, okay. So what I do is I listen to radio every morning. Turn on the old radio box.
So I drink my coffee and look at the
You don't even
newspaper.
drink coffee.
Yeah, I don't
Get
drink
out of
coffee.
here. Cool. Podcast over.
Bye.
Bye.